Okay, so this is a little blog about Tabula Rasa by Richard Garriot. Great game, by the way. You know, we love it. It's amazing. It's the sound, the environment, the detail, but there's just some, some more problems and glitches and stuff like that. And I'm kind of getting the sense that, and from like a lot of different people, that the game was kind of rushed from beta to the market, and and it's because it's a great game. The gameplay is great. It's working out great, and they're still kind of working out the balancing issues. Um, but ultimately, the game is not totally flawed. It's just they're just working it out still. So it's obvious that they maybe rushed to the market with the product, but why not? And because it really seems that the populations on the different servers are increasing. So part of that has to do with the fact that there are buddy keys, or trial keys, trial codes going out. So basically anybody can download the game and start messing around with it. And really it's just you just get a hold of somebody. And in a lot of instances, people just go on a message board and communicate with each other privately that way, and get the information. But it's right there. The little corpse, as soon as you kill the guy, it falls down dead and moves and it shifts back. So I mean that's just like one little minor thing. Who cares? But some of the problems or some of the things and issues is, in my opinion, why have the enemies spawn, at random locations all over the place all the time? Why not, try to keep it on a, like say on a new map you develop, keep it so that actually all the enemies spawn from certain locations, like certain, whatchamacallit, spawn points. Like the teleport pads,
Oh,
right? Have like, you can capture those on a map, and like you do now, but basically that's where the enemy spawns from, and the levels of enemy. And so like at random intervals, this level enemy will spawn, and emerge. And so you program it into the AI that, okay, this one's going to move in and it's going to patrol the base. When the next one moves in, this one's going to bump and go to a position where it's going to patrol outside of the base, or a perimeter of the base. And then when the next one comes, it'll move out to this next, program. And so basically, the population of the map is dictated by, how much you are pushing forward into the enemy. So rather than the battlefield, in a sense, the whole place is a battlefield. You never know when the enemy is going to, pop up and do something. But because they're just so easy to wipe out, it doesn't really matter too much. So that kind of takes you out of the battlefield sense. But instead, why don't you have it that when enough enemies spawn in an encampment, and that haven't been used to replenish other certain units, because like they would have patrols and that. But when you have a certain X number of mobs that spawn at a location, they proceed to go out and go on an attack, an ambush patrol. And so that way you can kind of gauge, like how many minutes it takes before you're going to get attacked, a certain base. And if things happen a certain way, there's a progression to that happens, or for that to happen. But I'm kind of curious, if that could be a possible idea of how to approach the game. But ultimately, the big thing I wanted to blog about right now is the game crashing. Right. So a number of times when I start it up, first time, crash, and even a second time, it'll crash. And so my buddy here, same thing, started up and it just crashed. And so just kind of something weird. Now the interesting thing is the bars is a neat thing. So players contribute music, entertain, have open mic nights, and you have a kennel and a jail, which that's interesting. But you also have a garage for vehicles, for mechs. So I'm very interested in that. I'm very curious, like how you can take advantage of that. But at the same time, it doesn't really seem like there is any sort of ground uh, that can be utilized for vehicles. It's not driving land, or driving terrain, in other words. Because like as soon as you go out those double gates, what do you got? You got like one little kind of it's a small, really really cramped little road, and there's another road going down into the battlefield. So whatever vehicles you're imagining that are going to be occurring in the game, they're going to be really small, maybe even like motorcycle type, or you know what, speeders, like little frickin' Star Wars, Endo Forest speeders. You just hop on them, and they have like whatever sort of capsule or whatever. So that way they don't need wheels of any sort, and if they run over somebody, they're not going to kill them outright, unless that's like a feature you can add to that vehicle. Um, but otherwise, that's just kind of what I'm thinking and noticing. How about you, man? What do you think? What could we add, or what could be added?